Good morning. This is the third week of 2024. This is the notable events, weather and sports. The top story this week, it was cold. It was real cold. Very cold and icy. Started on Wednesday. Temperature will struggle today. This is Wednesday, by the way. Temperatures will fall, plummet, well below freezing, but pretty sunny and remaining dry. As I said, it was really cold. This is what it was like in Texas.
You're here. Can you come get closer to over here for your hair?
Alright, should I try it? Should I try it?
Yeah, try it.
Hey, flip it back. Flip it back. Come over here. Let me show you this thing.
This is great. Can you take a picture of it?
In fact, it was even this cold.
Okay, Emily, thank you. That cold is also causing some big-time headaches for Chicago area owners of electric vehicles.
Yes, I never thought we'd say this, but it's true. As Dane Placco reports, the low temperatures have caused some headaches for owners looking to charge their cars.
Electric cars may be the way of the future, but it's clear there are some problems when it comes to charging them in Chicago's deep freeze.
Oh, we got a bunch of dead robots out here.
Dead robots. Dead Teslas packed the parking lot at this Tesla supercharging station in Oak Brook, a scene mirrored in other supercharging stations around the Chicago area.
Man, this is crazy. It's a disaster. Seriously.
With temperatures falling into the negative double digits, these charging ports have stopped charging, leaving many Tesla owners stranded here in long lines since Sunday.
Nothing, no juice, it's still on 0%. And this is like 3 hours this morning being out here, after being out here 8 hours yesterday.
Has it been charging?
No, not at all.
It just isn't working.
At all. It's just frozen, and so I'm now getting it towed to the Tesla Service Center because that's my only option at this point.
Adding to their frustration, they say, is that they're getting no help when they call Tesla for assistance.
No response from Tesla. We have been suffering since yesterday afternoon.
These are unusually cold temperatures, but do you find this acceptable?
No, not at all. Not really. I think it's less on the actual vehicle and more on the infrastructure.
Tesla has not responded to our emails for comment, but an automobile expert we talked to said that the owners of all EVs should hit the battery precondition button on their car before attempting to charge it in extremely cold weather. In Oak Brook, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
It was so cold it was making electric vehicles totally pointless. In Latvia, old Soviet locomotive from the 70s pulled modern Czech electric trains worth 250 million euros, which were destroyed by the frost. I've been in Czech Republic on the trains back in the early 90s, and they're really warm and nice. They're a bit like old, but they're just nice.
Here today with Barbara and Neill on self.heal.by.design, which is also the name of Barbara's first book. And we're going to clear up some misconceptions about what's happening on social media. Hello, Barbara.
Hi.
What's the date today, firstly?
The date today is the 30th of November 2023.
Lovely day for it. So firstly, how many hours a day do you spend on social media?
None. I actually don't even know what it is.
Okay. So we're on social media now. We're on Instagram now. People are saying hello. So Barbara spends no time on social media. So obviously if there's people who are on Facebook and Instagram saying, I am Barbara Neill, this is what you should do, or call me for a consultation, that's not you.
That's not me.
No. Okay. So you do have some social media accounts that your team here runs, which is the one we're on now. Yep. And there's also Misty Mountain Lifestyle Retreat, which is where we are now. The little sign in the background there by the kitchen, Misty Mountain. Now, Barbara, do you offer private consultations?
No, I don't.
No. Not anywhere in the world?
No, I don't do any private consultations. I actually don't have time.
Yeah, you are very busy. And also, do you sell what people would call cures?
No, because I don't believe there are any cures. I believe there is one wonder cure, and that is the human body. God designed this body to heal itself, and it will heal itself if you give it the right conditions. And many people are ignorant as to those correct or right conditions, and that really is what I do when I'm not in Australia.
Yeah.
Is I teach people what to do to their bodies to bring about a healing condition.
And very well, might I add too. There are people out there who are desperate to talk to you. I think if they can just talk to you, you can tell them what to do and that you will heal them. And what can you say to them?
Well, there's actually no need to talk to me, because all the information I've made available. I've made it available in books, I've made it available on the internet, so it's all out there. It's really just a matter of doing it.
Implementing. So to these people who are taking advantage of vulnerable people, who are scamming them and conning them and deceiving them, what would you like to say to them?
You know, I'm so sorry to hear that. It will not go well with you, because life serves back in your coin you pay. It's so important to be truthful, to have integrity. And so, please don't do it.
Yes, perfect. That's so true. Just don't. And someone just asked, what is the name of your new book?
The name of my new book is Sustain Me, and it's an acronym that my daughter and I brainstormed about one day and came up with on the basic laws of health. My aim is that it's a handbook on natural remedies. So if you've got a problem, you can look it up in this book. I start at the head and go through eyes, ears, nose, mouth, teeth, go through the body. That's what it will be. We are hoping it will be available early next year. Our graphic designer is doing an amazing job, but it is taking a little longer than we anticipated.
It's going to be a great resource, that's for sure. And so, just ending now, thank you, Barbara, for your time. What's the number one thing, in your opinion, that people can do to improve their health?
Number one thing is really to listen to the basic principles that I cover. Hard to say the number one, because we are all so different, and I believe every person should be their own doctor. Yes, we all need to drink water. Yes, we all need to go to bed earlier. Yes, we all need to exercise. Yes, we all need to eat food in its natural state. But the fine adjustments really are up to each one of us. And really just do it. Listen, do it, and then listen again. And who you're listening to this time is your body. And your body will say, I like that. Or your body will say, I don't really like that. Can you do some adjustments? So it's just listening to the body, which is almost, I find, a lost art. Listen.
Thank you so much, Barbara. It's been a pleasure. I really appreciate you telling people. So hopefully now the people who have watched it can, if they see someone scamming or pretending to be you, they can with authority say, no, this is not Barbara. Yeah. Yes. All right. Thank you very much.
Disease X is now a thing.
And now they're trying to do it again. Now they're talking about Disease X. You guys hear about that? Disease X. See, they come up with all these fancy names, and they just keep trying to play the same game if you keep believing it. It's kind of like the 6 feet thing. You know, the 6 feet thing was just made up. They just made it up. They just made up a number. And they just keep doing this. They're going to keep doing all of these diseases. And all of this was spreading. And all of this was coming from a foreign land. And it was jumping out of a lab. And it was coming out past 7 p.m. So you better get in your house. You better not go out. You better not talk to your friends and family and try to get together and revolt. You need to believe the tear stuff. How many more things do people got to make up to see that it's all a bunch of baloney? 1923. Germ theory was debunked. Lancaster study. That's it. They debunked it a long time ago. They just keep telling you germs are going to get you because it puts people in fear. You need to cover up and you need to stay inside and not go out. You can eat inside a restaurant as long as you're outside in a tent. Think of how silly those things are. Disease, what people are really suffering from? Too many toxins in the body, too many toxins in the food supply, too many toxins getting put into them, and too many radio frequencies. All the towers and all the nonsense that they keep trying to put out, That's what people were suffering from.
There's a modern day paper on germ theory called Farewell to Virology by Dr. Mark Bailey, if anyone's interested. Do you reckon we'll get more fantasy names? X, Y, and Z? Sounds like it's counting down. Untrustworthy people in suits are preparing for the launch in Davos.
My friend Richard, dear colleagues and friends, in 2 weeks' time, we will mark the 200th anniversary of the death of Edward Jenner, the father of vaccines. Perhaps no innovation in history has transformed the health of so many people more than vaccines. The COVID-19 pandemic is a vivid demonstration of the power of vaccines, but also of the inequities in access to these life-saving tools. Those inequities would have been even wider without CEPI's investment and partnership through the ACT Accelerator and COVAX. But we know that COVID-19 will not be the last disease X. That's why CEPI's 100-day mission is so important. Ambitious partnerships like this are crucial for ensuring that when the next disease X arrives, the world is more ready than it was this time. In tandem with WHO standard-setting work and pre-qualification services, and the work of other partners like Gavi and UNICEF, we can ensure that vaccines are developed faster than ever before and distributed faster, wider, and more equitably than ever before. WHO strongly supports and looks forward to collaborating with CEPI on the 100-day mission. I thank you.
Tony Blair's new Dracula look. Now looking creepier than ever. Mainland European farmers are banding together and they're all protesting. Things are starting to heat up in Romania. Woo, Romania! Cops are pushing the farmers and they are not letting them in the city to protest, so they are left on the road. It never stopped the French or the German farmers. The British farmers, yet to do anything. Head of BlackRock, Larry Fink, plans to enslave us all.
And we believe it's so important to be anticipating the next move. I would also say on the beginnings of a ETF Bitcoin, we believe ETFs are a technology no different than Bitcoin was a technology for asset storage. We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities around bonds and stocks and digital by having a tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we could customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual. We would have instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stocks. But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate because it's just a line item. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets. I believe if you want to talk about voting and voting choice and all the things, if we know every moment who is the owner of that stock and it's now time to vote, every individual who has ownership is identified and they can vote their own share.
In my neck of the woods, in the northeast Teesside, there's an old tradition of the mining communities, and to keep control, the mining communities built houses for the workers and give them what was called funny money. This funny money would only be acceptable at the miners' company, other businesses and stores. So a person couldn't make money because they'll get funny money, and they couldn't just leave one business and go work for someone else. They were enslaved into that mining community, And programmable money will do that. It will enslave you into the area or enslave you into a job. And it's not a good crack, not something to look forward to. Information on how minorities can control majorities.
Have you ever heard of a game called Werewolf?
No.
Everyone gets a piece of paper. It's either got villager written on it, but 2 have the word werewolf. Someone runs the game to make sure no one's cheating, and they go, okay, it's nighttime, everyone close your eyes. Werewolves choose someone to kill, and the werewolves go. They say, okay, everyone close your eyes, it's morning time, open them again. During the night, Francis was killed. There's then a conversation, and this is where it gets interesting, between all the villagers and the 2 werewolves over who the werewolves are. Then at the end of the day, the villagers have to decide who they're going to kill, and they say, well, we're going to kill Constantine. It's revealed by the person running the game, I'm afraid Constantine was a villager. And the game continues. The villagers win the game if they kill both werewolves. The werewolves win the game if they kill all but 2 villagers. And the werewolves usually win. The game was invented by a student of sociology in Russia who wanted to prove his thesis that an uninformed majority will always lose a battle of information against an informed minority. So that just shows when you have hidden information, you can completely manipulate a large group of people.
The Bible seems like an uplifting read. Jordan Henderson's first training session with Ajax. UFC star Strickland gives an amazing press conference.
So this is what I'm talking about, you guys. The enemy of Canada.
Sure.
All right.
That's what it's got to be. It's got to be. We've got a pretty supportive gay and lesbian community in this city. I did want to ask you about something you wrote a couple of years ago. You said if I had a gay son, I would think I'd.
Oh, look, another. I'm saying to you, the swamp, you guys, the swamp.
You become a champion, you become a star, and some would say.
Let me ask you something. Are you gay?
Have you had the chance to interact with a more diverse
are you? Let me know. Are you gay?
Can I get an answer?
Well, no, I'm asking. This is a part of. Are you a gay man?
I'm an ally of the community.
Okay. If you had a son and he was like, you had a son, he was gay, you'd be like, oh man, you don't want a grandkid?
No problem with it.
Oh man, well, dude, you're a weak fucking man, dude. You're part of the fucking problem. You elected Justin Trudeau, like, when he sees the bank accounts, like, you're just fucking pathetic. And the fact that you have no fucking backbone. And has he shut down your fucking country and seized bank accounts? You ask me some stupid shit like that, go fuck yourself. Move the fuck on, man.
That doesn't really answer the question, but I did want to ask also things you said about the trans community. You said this past October when they announced the Bud Light sponsorship that you'd go so hard on Bud Light in your next fight, they'll have to accept me or denounce me when they know will know what they stand for.
This guy's like, nah, this Canadian's not that Canadian.
Are you still going to use your fight time to kind of speak on that?
Here's the thing about Bud Light. 10 years ago, to be trans was a mental fucking illness. And now all of a sudden, people like you have fucking weaseled your way into the world. You are an infection. You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of fucking you. And the best thing is the world's not buying it. The world's not buying your fucking bullshit you're fucking peddling. The world is not saying, you know what? You're right. Fucking chicks have dicks. The world's not saying that. The world's saying, no, there are 2 genders. I don't want my kids being taught about, who they could fuck in school. I don't want my kids being taught about, their sexual preference. Like, dude, this guy is the fucking enemy. You want to look at the fucking enemy to our world? It's that motherfucker right there, asking these stupid fucking questions. Sorry, I told the UFC I was being nicer. Lance, am I still good with this? Did I cross any lines? A little. What the fuck? I didn't say the F word. You just brought this fucking guy in here to piss me off.
You just did, but just to follow up, I mean, Rick.
Did I say it?
You just did.
No, I didn't say it.
Right there, you did.
Different F word, different word. Yeah. I'm trying to be good, man. I'm trying to be good. I like the fucking gays. Everything. I've never. You guys think I've ever shit on a gay man or shit on a gay woman? I like the gays. It's fucking freedom. We still have it in America. We'll teach you about it. You guys don't have fucking freedom of speech. I'm surprised what I'm saying is probably gonna get fucking. I'm probably gonna get the fucking Canadian government to arrest me. So I don't give a fuck who you fuck. I don't give a fuck what you want to do in life. But. Don't fucking tell kids about it. Don't teach that shit in fucking school. Don't fucking push your agenda. Don't try to fucking brainwash people. Don't try to go past parents. Don't try to go past all this shit and brainwash people, you fuck.
In the UK's House of Parliament,
after years, if not decades, of neglect under the party opposite, it's this government that is levelling up across our country.
Well, imagine the shock for the Prime Minister when he finds out it's his party that's actually been in power for the last 13 years. A staggering 14 million people are now living in poverty. 1 million adults can't afford to eat every day. 9 million are skipping meals and cutting back on food. Millions more can't afford to heat their homes, and record numbers are now using food banks. We've got untreated sewage dumped in our rivers, crumbling schools and hospitals. Never in living memory have families got so much poorer over a single parliament, and the Prime Minister expects us all to believe this.
It's this government that is levelling up across our country.
Never underestimate just how thick this government thinks we all are.
Now, while he talks the country down, let me update him on what's actually been happening in the past week. Inflation more than halved from 11% to 4%. Real wages rising. Real wages rising for the 5th month in a row. Last week, rates started falling and millions of people benefited from a tax cut worth £450.
Well, let's break that bollocks down.
Inflation more than halved from 11%.
Well, again, imagine the Prime Minister's shock when the Chancellor tells him inflation actually rose in December. And he'll fall off his chair when he finds out the job of cutting inflation is for the Bank of England. So any suggestion the government is responsible for it falling just insults the public's intelligence. And let's not forget it was this government that gave us the highest inflation in 40 years in the first place, in part due to its incompetent management of the economy.
Mr. Speaker, inflation was over 11% when I got this job.
Well, bearing in mind it was the Conservative government that had been in power for more than a decade at that point, it's not exactly something to boast about. And wasn't Rishi Sunak Chancellor and responsible for managing the economy for more than 2 years almost immediately prior to that?
Yes. But the crucial thing is that inflation has been more than halved, delivered ahead of schedule, and that is having an enormous benefit to families up and down the country.
Contrary to what the Prime Minister keeps telling us, falling inflation is not a tax cut for hard-up families. Falling inflation just means prices are rising more slowly than they were before. It does not mean that price levels are actually falling. So it won't immediately help the families now struggling to put food on the table and heat their homes.
Millions of people benefited from a tax cut.
Under Sunak's government, taxes are on course to reach their highest level since the Second World War. The Institute for Fiscal Studies has found that for every £1 the Treasury has taken from taxpayers, less than 25 pence is coming back in tax cuts. And the Prime Minister wants us to slap him on the back and throw a party. By any standards, Sunak's government is being fundamentally dishonest and outright misleading when talking about tax cuts. In fact, the government's latest tax measures put the UK on course to have the biggest tax-raising parliament in modern history.
Real wages rising.
Seriously? Real wages in 2024 are forecast to be lower than they were in 2006. Just think about that.
Posh Asian man lied to the nation.
Time for the Lords to pass this bill too. This is an urgent national priority. The treaty with Rwanda is signed, and the legislation which deems Rwanda a safe country has been passed unamended in our elected chamber. There is now only one question. Will the opposition in the appointed House of Lords try and frustrate the will of the people as expressed by the elected House, or will they get on board and do the right thing?
Let's end party politics. Party politics is people working together, not for the majority. If we just scrap them and go independent, in my opinion, they would have less control.
And tonight I'm also making another promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. Do you know about that?
There's not a chance in hell he'll keep that promise. New extensive eye tests could take 70 million drivers off the road. Motorists have been told to prepare for law changes requiring extensive eyesight tests to drive on UK roads. Experts from lessercar.uk have warned that drivers who do not see well in the dark would have their licence revoked. Blah 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 blah. The DVSA has now published a 23-24 business plan. It might have something to do with the LED headlight and the LED street furniture. LED is a point of source light, and a 5-watt light bulb wouldn't light a little room, but a 5-watt LED would burn your skin. LEDs are just basically lasers, so when you're driving around and someone's got LED headlights, they're just shining a bright laser into your face. Well, it isn't good.
So today we're announcing a federal lawsuit against Meta. Meta, of course, is the parent company of Instagram and Facebook, for knowingly harming the mental health of young social media users.
Well, Meta are bastards, aren't they? Remember this pedo?
I've never interviewed a pervert before. Wait, I take that back. I did. And his son. What am I talking about? Anyway, why were you besties with a sex trafficker?
It would be a considerable stretch to say that he was a very, very close friend.
But you'd go stay at his private island?
If he wasn't there, he would say, well, why don't you come and use my houses? So I said, that's very kind. Thank you very much indeed.
Very kind, yes. How often would you go? Did you have like an Epstein Island rewards card, or?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And I definitely did not visit his Palm Beach house 3 or 4 times a year.
There's a Palm Beach house too?
No.
Prince Andrew, Duke of York. Now, do you prefer I call you Prince Pedo?
Oh, no. Funny enough, I don't.
No?
No.
Okay, not a nickname guy. I'll be honest, I had to Google you, and it appears things are going pear-shaped for you. People don't forget perverts. Just ask Pee Wee Herman. So, why would a perv ball such as yourself...
I'm sorry, why would...
Sorry, so why would you want to vacation at a convicted sex offender's house on the other side of the world?
It was a convenient place to stay.
Yes, that sounds convenient. You know where else is a convenient place to stay? Hilton, Marriott, Doubletree.
But it was usually because I was going through and on somewhere else. So it was a day. That was it.
My layovers are usually like Atlanta or Dallas, and nobody is naked.
At the time, there was no indication to me or anybody else that was what he was doing. There was no indication, absolutely no indication.
Yeah, I feel like the kids running around in lingerie should have set off some alarms, but I bet you didn't see them on your quick layover through Pedo Island, huh?
Absolutely not.
All right, so let me get this straight. You were friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes.
He was found guilty of sex trafficking.
Yes.
You'd fly across the world to stay where this trafficking was happening.
Yes.
You are completely innocent.
Yes.
All right. If I was friends with Colonel Sanders, and he had restaurants known for their chicken, and I traveled the world visiting them, you'd assume I like chicken. So you can see where people might make assumptions.
But I didn't have much time with him. I suppose I saw him once or twice a year, perhaps maybe maximum of 3 times a year.
Why is that? Is it quite the quiz to diddle the kids?
Well, that bit I can't help you with because I've no idea.
Faux show. Why don't you enlighten me on this photo of you and this Virginia girl?
I don't remember that photograph ever being taken.
Oh, okay. But you've met this girl, yes?
I don't know if I've met her. But no, I have no recollection of meeting her.
All right. So all the things that she said that has happened between the two of y'all...
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen. And you are 100% certain, not a doubt in your mind.
I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened.
Perfect. Then it would behoove you to prove it's not you in that photograph with an underage girl.
Oh, it's definitely me. I mean, that's a picture of me.
Stop being lazy and use your legs. They look fun. You can crack on if you want. But I think in my area 3 people died last year, 2 of them were children. Middlesbrough to go bankrupt. This will be people playing party politics again with people's lives. Middlesbrough Council apply for government for 15 million emergency fund to avoid going bankrupt. At a meeting on the 17th of January, council leaders voted anonymously for the bailout. The authority says it has a 6.3 million shortfall that cannot be filled, despite already proposing tariff cost-cutting measures, including selling off public buildings to try and balance the budget in March. Why don't they lower business rates? Further proposals is to save 14 million are currently on the public construction, including job cuts, never a good idea, reduced waste collection, and a council tax increase of 4.99. I heard in an area, I think it was France, and again in Denmark, where they give all the households chickens, like 3 chickens, and that extremely cut down on the waste management, and everyone had 3 eggs. And it's always nice to have a chicken, isn't it? A chicken or 2. And we'll end on these fruit cakes. It wouldn't be Davos without a witch doctor performing incantations.
Nukambahu Anuri, Nukamai, Nukamwaka, na Anuri, no Yuyua, Nawahon Shinan, Vupank, Tushinan, Shavawaki, Shinamu Kikirani, Tsai Shavakirani, Tsai Makikirani. Awama Wanana, Awama Wanana, Numahunu why should I?
Right.